Hi, welcome to our next video in Module 2. Now that we've chosen our annual student outcome goals and written them in SMART goal format, we'll want to begin drafting a plan for our goals. This plan will include identifying mindsets and behaviors and corresponding learning objectives that we'll want to address and teach students to help us meet our goal. ASCA uses the Annual Student Outcome Goal Plan template, which starts with the data priorities, supplemental data, and the SMART goals, which we've just completed. The goal plan is also where we'll identify the strategies that we plan to use to achieve these goals. Each goal will have its own plan. We've broken down ASCA's goal plan into smaller steps to make it more manageable. When you're done with this module, you will have a complete student outcome goal plan for each of your goals, which will include the goal itself, as well as your plan for addressing the goal and how you will assess if you've met your goal. The first step on the goal plan is to identify the student standards we'll want to address and teach students to help us meet our goal. You probably remember from Module 1 that in the ASCA National Model, student standards are the ASCA mindsets and behaviors. The mindsets and behaviors are based on research, and they describe the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that students need in order to achieve academic success, post-secondary and career readiness, and healthy social and emotional development. They identify and prioritize what students should be able to understand, believe, and do as a result of a comprehensive school counseling program. We'll first look at each of our annual student outcomes SMART goals and identify which mindsets or behaviors, if prioritized through the counseling program, will help students move closer toward achieving our goal. Think about your supplemental data and what it told you about students and what they might not know or understand and why. For example, if your goal addresses an attendance issue based on student attendance data, and a large number of students reported in a needs assessment that they're experiencing a great deal of stress and anxiety, you might consider selecting the behavior from the mindsets and behaviors related to self-management and demonstrating effective coping skills when faced with a problem, or perhaps demonstrating the ability to overcome barriers to learning. You may select more than one mindset or behavior to focus on for your student outcome goal. However, it's best to limit it to one or two. For example, here I have chosen mindset and one behavior that correspond to my goal for decreasing 8th grade students who are failing the state standardized math assessment. My selection was informed by what I've learned from teachers and pulled from survey results, indicating that students struggle with time management and study skills and appear to lack motivation. You'll select the mindset and behavior that you determine is most appropriate for each of your goals. Again, it's best to limit your mindsets and behaviors to one or two per goal. For my example here, I have chosen one mindset and one behavior that correspond to my goal for decreasing 8th grade students who are failing the state math assessment. My selection was informed by what I've learned from teachers and pulled from survey results that indicated that students struggle with time management and study skills and appear to lack motivation. You'll select the mindset and behavior you determine is most appropriate for each of your goals. Again, it's best to limit your mindsets and behaviors to one or two per goal. Next, we need to do what ASCA calls operationalize our mindsets and behaviors. What this means is we need to think about what specific skills or knowledge we want students to attain. If you notice, the mindsets and behaviors are more broad and general. So while they inform an area of knowledge or a type of belief students should have, they aren't easily measurable. We operationalize the mindsets and behaviors by creating learning objectives. Learning objectives are brief statements that describe what students will be expected to learn by the end of our classroom lessons, large group presentations, or small groups. They are the skills, knowledge, and attitudes students need as they work toward meeting the broader mindsets and behaviors. Learning objectives are also a way to establish and articulate expectations for students so they know exactly what's expected from them. When learning objectives are clearly communicated to students, they'll be more likely to attain the skills, knowledge, and attitudes necessary for the mindsets and behaviors that we've set for our goals. To put it simply, a learning objective describes what the learners should be able to do, know, or believe after they complete your instruction or whatever activity, strategy, or intervention you decide to use to help students attain the mindset or behavior that you've identified as necessary for reaching your goal. We'll look at an example of mindsets and behaviors and learning objectives for a goal of reducing discipline referrals for fighting, where supplemental data from student surveys revealed that students weren't able to name the alternatives to fighting when conflicts arose. Based on the mindsets and behaviors we want students to attain, we'll write 1 or 2 sentences describing the specific beliefs, knowledge, or skills that we want students to have. Based on the mindsets and behaviors we want students to attain, we'll write 1 or 2 sentences describing the specific beliefs, knowledge, or skills we want students to have. These will be our learning objectives. Make sure to identify and enter a learning objective for each one of your mindsets or behaviors. It's best to limit your learning objectives to 1 or 2 for each mindset or behavior. Remember, we identify, is there an arrow on that? Okay, I'm just going to start at the top. So, yes, sorry. Okay, so I will start in, wait a minute, hold on. Oh. Okay, I'll start on this slide in 5. Okay, no, sorry. I'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make sure to identify and enter a learning objective for each one of your mindsets or behaviors. It's best to limit your learning objectives to 1 or 2 for each mindset or behavior. Remember, we identify mindsets and behaviors and create our learning objectives before we create strategies, interventions, or activities. We'll discuss those in the next video. Your tasks to complete for selecting your mindsets and behaviors and learning objectives are: first, select 1 or 2 mindsets and behaviors for each of your student outcome goals. Then, write 1 to 2 learning objectives for the mindset or behavior that you identified for your goals. Thanks for watching. In our next video, we'll identify possible activities, strategies, and interventions for our goals, along with pre- and post-assessments for those strategies, activities, and interventions. As always, we're available for individual support through email, phone, text, or online with Zoom. If you need support, just reach out by calling, texting, or emailing me at kelly@inspiresuccess.org.